Good afternoon on what is a mild, bright and sunny day. It is Thursday the 15th of September. I've got a nice hot cup of tea. And this to unbox. Now, previously I actually did an unboxing of this. And I wasn't going to do an unboxing of this. It didn't occur to me to do one at all. But I realised I had it upstairs. I should do one before. I actually looked at the new version of Spelljammer. So this is Dungeons & Dragons Spelljammer Adventures in Space. It's for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And it's one of those settings which people have kind of been clamouring for ever since Wizards of the Coast started sort of like going back and looking at its back catalogue. Most of its focus has kind of been on the Forgotten Realms, the world of Toril, and sort of like the Sword Coast, and it's sort of like people are going, can we see this please, can we see that? And it's done Eberron, and obviously it's done Ravenloft, but it hasn't done anything sort of like any of the odder settings quite yet, so it's not done Planescape, but it's going to, which is fantastic news, and it's not done Dark Sun, which people really appreciate going to see. So this is Spelljammer, finally here, Adventures in Space. Bring your best space hamster for 5th edition, and this is the special edition, which comes in a really nice slipcase edition and so on. So, set sail for the stars. Home of the stars and gateway to the heavens, the astral plane teems with excitement and possibility. With the help of magic known as spelljamming, you can cross the oceans of wild space, ply the silvery void known as the astral sea, and hop between the worlds of Dungeons & Dragons multiverse. And that's one of the original ideas in Spelljammer. It's sort of like this would sort of like sit above all of those worlds and sort of connect to them. And this is the overarching connecting element. Spelljammer Adventures in Space contains everything a Dungeon Master needs to run adventures and campaigns set in the starlight realms of wild space and astral space, as well as new options for players who want to create characters at home in this fantastic setting. Contents: the Astral Adventures realm, a 64-page hardcover book that includes space-based character options, deck plans and descriptions for spelljamming ships and more. Boo's Astral Menagerie, a 64-page hardcover that presents game statistics and descriptions for creatures found in wild space and the astral sea, including astral elves, cosmic horrors, lunar and solar dragons, murder comets, and space clowns. Who doesn't love a space clown? Light of Ixaris, a 64-page hardcover adventure set in the astral planes and designed for characters levels 5th to 8th. Double-sided poster map of the Rock of Braal, an asteroid city that can serve as both an adventure location and campaign hub in astral space. 34-page, 4-panel Dungeon Master screen. So, 3 different books, screen. That's quite a package. So let's open up and find out what we've got inside. So just carefully split the wrapping. So okay. That's okay. There's my first grumble. Why do I have to have this as a separate piece? Put it on the back. It's part of the production. It's I want the blurb on the back. That's very annoying. So nice, sturdy slipcase there. I'm just going to slide about, and then I'll just show you just the screen itself. So you have a nice sort of like astral view, depicting various locations. So that's the screen, 4-panel screen. 4-panel screen. And on the inside, you've got sort of like breakdown, quick overview of astral space, and how gravity and air works, encounters, and then so a couple of these encounters here and here, and then shipboard tasks, that sort of thing. at ship cargo, expensive cargo. So this is all about travel and survival. There's nothing about combat in space. That's a bit odd. And of course you've got the Dungeons and Dragons ampersand logo in the corner there. So which book should we be looking at? Let's have a look at the very pretty Astral Adventurers Guide, with which I think is with a depiction of a monocled space hippo, and then you've got a couple of flintlocks on the back. So it's quite a slim hardback. And unfortunately, we kind of open up with an image which has caused some people some consternation, and also the descriptions there. But we get into introduction with the vast oceans adventure, terminology used in this book, and the Astral campaign, and first adventure seats. Character options, so we've got backgrounds, such as Astral Drifter and World Spacer to add in, and then races. We've got several here, and a guide to creating characters. So Astral Elves and Auto Gnomes, when you really need a gnome. GIF, which are the space hippos, and the Hodozi, who have caused some controversy because of the depiction of space monkeys. You know, why they didn't go with the same creatures as they had in Star Frontiers, I don't know. That would have been kind of better. Yeah. And then plasmoids and Thrakeen. So the Thrakeen are taken from the Dark Sun setting. Plasmoids are there for when you sort of like want to play. You know, they're another sort of like species that sort of is essentially like the ones taken out of Star Frontiers, who can change shape. And of course, you've still got references to space hamsters. And then Astral Adventuring, so you've got how Spelljamming works. Air envelope, Spelljammer jewels, gravity plane. So this is all, you know, very familiar from the original source material. This image essentially is taken from the original source material, but upgraded, as it were, basically been done over for full colour, and so on. We have discussion of astral plane, and then we go on to magic. Magical items, spelljamming ships, crashing spell, and so on. Then we go on to bombard. The ship types complete with deck plans. So we've got the bombard, the damselfly ship, and all of the same things apply. You have this mix of the aerial and the aquatic in space. The flying fish ship. Hammerhead ship, and some of these illustrations are not very good. You don't get really a feel for what this ship looks like here. It's a nice image, but if you compare it to even that for the damselfly, the flying fish ship, or the damselfly ship, this isn't a good illustration. You know, it could have done better there. I mean, as a scene at a port, it's fine. As an image of a ship, no. Lamprey ship, complete with terrible jaws and mouth parts for presumably cutting open and ripping other ships apart. Living ship. So lots of ships here. Of course, the Northlide, which was the kind of the signature ship for the setting. Night Spider. More Scorpion ship. I mean, that's not in the core set for the original Spelljammer. It's obviously come from elsewhere. Shrike ship. Great ramming horn. Space Galleon. These are really great deck plans, nice descriptions, sometimes decent illustrations. Squid ship, I mean, it's not too bad. And he's doing the same, so Star Moth, Turtle Ship, Tyrant Ship. So we've actually got a good image of what a Tyrant Ship looks like. The Beholder Ship's complete with deck plans. Yeah, nice of them to include that. I appreciate it. It wasn't in the original. It was in the original, but wasn't very well illustrated. Didn't have its own card. Wasp Ship and so on. And then we get into the Rock of Brawl. And here, where I showed you a map, I did show you a map of this in the unboxing, the core set. But that's a really fantastic illustration to give you an idea of what it looks like. This is, in some ways, this does so much more to bring the setting alive than the original box set. You know, there's quite a few page description. So we've got the poster there. And it basically got a bit damaged in the folding, so I'm not going to unfold that. I am going to do a quick pair on the fold. So yeah, that's the Astral Adventurers Guide. Then I'm going to do Boo's Astral Menagerie. There we've got Boo. Boo obviously being the most famous hamster in gaming, and most famous hamster in Dungeons and Dragons. You know, he and his barbarian companion, you know, always with the phrase, "Go for the eyes, Boo!" So here we have Boo, the space hamster. So it says here, and you know, take heart, fellow adventurers, for you have carried the favour of Boo, Minsk, his Boo's companion, and then followed by Squeak by Boo. So it's got a nice sense of humour there, I do like that. Boo is a hamster, more precisely is a miniature giant space hamster, a rather famous one. In fact, Boo's adventures with Minsk the Ranger, as well as Ferocity, are legendary, but Boo will be the first to tell you that he's just one of countless amazing creatures that hail from the starry realm known as Astral Plane. So we've got a quick guide to the stats and stat blocks there, and essentially the challenge ratings, encounter tables, before we get into the actual various species and races found across astral space. So here we've got proper discussion of astral elves, including stats for various types. So, you know, we'll start off with astral elf aristocrat, astral elf commander, honored guard, star priest, elf warrior, and so on. Auto gnome, Braxat, or Brazat, or this Braxit, Babrog. And all of these creatures are really kind of unfamiliar to me because I don't know the setting very well. This is my first real look at it for a long time. Cosmic horror. An eyemonger. A gadge. And these are all, I mean, this book is beautifully illustrated, really nicely laid out. And then we have the GIF. And I'm thinking, if I ever want to play a character in this setting, I definitely want to play GIF. I do like sort of things, I like the idea of playing a space hippo. Githyanki, nice to see them back in this setting. Essentially come all the way from the pages of White Dwarf back in the late 70s into the pages of Fiend Failure and out again, and here they are there. I do hope they sent their creator Charles Stross a nice copy of this at least. And then the Hadozi again, these are the difficult ones, the controversial ones. Yeah, I mean, you know, you may want to, I mean, they're going to change this in future printings, certainly on the PDF. You may want to use them, or whether or not you want to use them is your choice. You may want to avoid them, and that's either the choice is down to you. But obviously, If you use them, do be careful how you use them and the tone and so on. Lunar dragons. With various stages. There's a megapede. I generally hope he's got 1,000 legs or more. A murder comet. That's a ridiculous idea, but you know, yeah. The Nyogi, who have their own ships. Oh, and the plasmoids, which I think will begin. There'll be another race that will be fun to play. And then the Surlons, malevolent worm-like creatures. Rygar. Again, these are all unfamiliar to me in many cases. I mean, although I was always interested in Dungeons and Dragons and sort of like the settings, I was never part of a group that wanted to play a lot of it. We have solar dragons. So at the various stages, full stats. Space clowns and more space eels. And of course, space hamsters. You absolutely want space hamsters in the setting. And we've got space mollyhawks, space swines. How many more creatures can they just put space in the front of? Lots, I suspect. And then we have Susurran, who are a different type of lizard folk. Starlight apparitions. And the Thrycreen. Which I absolutely hope will make a comeback in their own setting, and we even have vampirates. I like the idea of vampirates, and not only because they're not space vampirates. So yeah, that's Boo's Astral Menagerie. Quite impressed with that. I do like that. Let's see. And then we've got the adventure, which is Light of Zarex. The Light of Zarex. Or Zarex. Yes, that's a really odd word to have to say. So you're going to have to put up with that. Wild Space awaits. So we've got adventure summary and structure and so on, and we've got it's a 4-part adventure beginning with the Seeds of Destruction, Terrors of the Void, Chaos in Doom Space, and Saviors of the Multiverse, and then a guide to running the adventure. And adventure inspiration. Light Zarixis is inspired by the 1980 film Flash Gordon and serialized Flash Gordon comic strips of the 30s. That looks fun. And we've got a guide to starting characters and advancement. Astral Realm, Astral Rain, and that sets everything off. And this sort of like hits wherever the player characters are. They're the city in danger, danger in the streets, trouble at the docks, and so on. And then we have Attack of the Star Moth. I think that's more than just your clothing being bitten through. Adventure Salvage, where presumably they get out into space and start exploring. And then they find a friendly port, complete with a Star Seagull, or it's like Star Gull. And presumably we've got Commodore Crux, Space Hippo, and Ruthless Rygar, and so on, and they go to the edge of wild space. Where living on the edge you find interesting location, Tupuola's Tower, which is adrift. Nice clean plans there, and then really nice illustration there, essentially of a ship under attack by a giant space scavenger beast. Basically, they're forming a grave alliance, presumably with space vampirates, and then they have trust issues. And again, lovely illustrations. Nicely illustration of a plasmoid creature there. More space hippos. And then we get into Doom Space. What should that be? Doom Space. Let's sort of vaguely getting the feel here of Thor Ragnarok as well. Sort of that kind of feeling of a strange environment far away. Yeah. And they have to get into yes, they have to get into arena battle. So it's kind of it's there. And then we did another threat before we get to the end. I put up with Saviors of the Multiverse. We put up with Space Invaders. And go into Zarik's this space. And explore the Imperial Citadel. The Temple of Light. Before they encounter the light of Zarixis. So yeah, that's the adventure, and possible outcomes. Conclusion: Zarixis is spared, Zarixis is destroyed, and then there's further adventure ideas at the end. But that's fairly brief. So let's put everything back in the box, in the slipcase. Right. If he doesn't want to go. So that's quite a solid little package there of books. I'll see if I'm going to slip this in as well, because I don't necessarily want to lose that, because it is part of the set. That's me being just a completist. But yeah, so what you've got the 3 books. You've got a good bestiary, a setting guide, and a screen, and so on. Now, I don't think that screen is very useful. It's because the thing is, I think there's one thing that's kind of missing from this. I don't see any one difference between this and this is I didn't see any combat rules. I didn't see any space combat rules. You've got spaceships traveling. You've got Spelljammer ships traveling between the spheres and across the astral realm, and there's no rules for guidance for space combat in there. I think that's a major omission. But it's a lovely, lovely looking box set. Now, a slipcase set. Putting aside the issues potentially with the Hadozi race, if you're interested in having sort of like the overarching sort of like campaign framework or setting framework, then this provides that. And hopefully there'll be more provided. No, this is Wizards of the Coast, so possibly not as much as you might have got in the past. But yeah, that's Spelljammer Adventures in Space for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, then please do click on that like button down below. And if you've got any comments or feedback, appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to see, I'm going to be alerted to get more unboxings out here in the Nook, where you will see me with typically a box containing a book or game, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Needed that been talking for 25 minutes. Then please do hit that subscribe button down below. In the meantime, thanks again for watching another unboxing the Nook. I'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.